A lot of times we think that because we have this site that's not bringing us the leads that we want, that we need to go and do a whole nother redesign. We need to go and make tweaks and changes and redo our about page. And maybe it's the copy or maybe it's these images. And sometimes we have this beautiful website that is really, really good and really nice, but it's still not bringing us leads. And instead of hopping in to hire a designer or hopping in to be able to do it yourself of trying to fix all the tweaks and things like that, I want to tell you and show you some things that could be holding your site back, even if it's the most beautiful site in the world. Um, for those that are new to my space, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kelly. I am the owner and founder of Ame Creatives, and consider me your Google matchmaker. I help wedding pros and wellness pros get found on Google and actually have a website that turns visitors into bookings. I find stuff that no one else sees, those hidden behind the scenes things that just you maybe haven't even thought of. I go in to make sure that those things are working well for you so that it's not holding someone back from actually booking and working with you. A client recently told me, I've never seen an SEO person be this thorough. And that's exactly the point. My job is to not just help you get traffic to your site, but help you to actually convert those traffic or those visitors to on your site once they get there. So today we're talking about how to make Google fall in love with your business, and it's so much more than just keywords and all the things that we talk about when it comes to SEO, but exactly how to have a whole foundation that works so people can actually find you and work with you. Now, there is a difference between what you see and what Google sees, right? When we look at what we see, we're looking at the beautiful images, the thoughtful design, the personality on the site, either, whether that's through the copy or through the branding and all of those things, all the beautiful things, right? That look good. But when Google is looking at your site, they're looking at the text, the structure, and certain signals. And these signals are in certain places on your site that need to be very clear so that Google can understand what it is you do and that they can be able to recommend you to the right people. If you're not like speaking that same language, right? Like if you're only focusing on what it is that you see and not what Google is looking for, then that's where we lose sight on being able to attract the right people. Um, where did my screen go? Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. So Google has five love languages. And here are the five love languages that I like to talk about. The first one is words of affirmation, right? We know the five love languages: words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, physical touch. And Google has what they attribute to each of these things. So for words of affirmation, it's speaking clearly about who it is that you help. Quality time is showing up consistently, being able, and I'm not talking about on social media. I'm talking about showing up consistently when it comes to your content and making sure that Google knows that your business is still present. Acts of service, making things easy for visitors and for Google, so that it's very clear who it is that you're there for, or that who it is your site is there for. Receiving gifts, being able to have social proof so other people can vouch for you and know that you are the right person for them. And then physical touch, how people interact with your website. For me, my love language is words of affirmation. When my youngest is actually really really good at this, she will come and tell me all day every day how much of a wonderful mom I am. She will come and tell me that I'm the best cook ever, that I make the best food. She just fills my bucket all day long, and it just that is like my love. Like that's what fills me up. So every time she comes and tells me it could be the smallest thing, she just always loves to come and show me appreciation and come and love on me and all those things. I love words of affirmation, right? But when, let's say, for example, if Someone was to get me a gift, that's actually my least favorite love language. If someone were to buy me a gift, it's not that I'm not appreciative of it. I love, that they have thought of an intentional gift for me. It's just not my way of receiving love the most. And so with Google, they're looking at all five of these things, right? Some of us, we have things that we favor more than others. Google's looking at all five of these things, and I want to dive into each one a little bit further. So you have words of affirmation. Words of affirmation means that you're clearly speaking about who it is that you help. And Google needs you to be very specific about this, right? A lot of times what I see is that we're not specific in who it is that we're speaking to. And because of that, Google definitely can't understand it. Your audience also can't understand it when they get to your website. So if we have something like creating memorable experiences, we have no idea what it is that you do from that, right? Maybe the pictures could tell us, maybe not. But if you had it very clear, such as Austin Wedding Planner for outdoor ceremonies, that is very clear of who it is that you help, what location you're in. And Google needs to be able to see that. Your audience needs to be able to see that. Because if your audience gets there and they have no clue what it is that you do, they're more likely to leave. Quality time. Quality time is all about like showing up consistently. So if you haven't touched your site in years, or if you have just been not updating your services, for example, Google might think that you're not in business anymore, or it might be bringing you the wrong types of people on your website. And then there's a disconnect there because when the people get to your website, they're confused about what it is that you do or how you're going to help them for what it is that they searched for. So you want to be able to make sure that you are consistent. This does not mean you need to be posting every week. This does not mean you need to be updating your website every single day, but you do need to make sure it's fresh and updated content that you're providing. Acts of service. Acts of service is when you are making it easy for both visitors and for Google to understand what it is that you do. This is really the behind the scenes things though. So when you're focusing on acts of service, it's really focusing on some of the hidden places that you may have not even thought about that really make the biggest impact. I worked with a client recently who we did not redesign her site at all. Um, I went through her site and looked at some of the technical things that were going wrong, and a lot of it, all of it, was all behind the scenes things that she just hadn't paid attention to or thought of to even know where to go to even look for these things. But these were things that were holding. It was lots of errors and things that Google was seeing, but that on the front end we just wouldn't see. And her site is beautiful. So what is important to do is to make sure that these behind the scenes things are not neglected. And again, a lot of times we just don't even know where to go to look for those things. Receiving gifts. Receiving gifts is all about social proof. Google wants to see who it is that trusts your site. It makes you feel or makes you seem more credible when you have other people vouching for you. You have um, different ways of showing that you know what it is that you're doing, that you're an expert in your industry. And this is a great way to be able to get add testimonials, have reviews on Google Business Profile. It's just a great way to be able to leverage those places to showcase that social proof. Physical touch. Physical touch is how people interact with your website once they land on your site. So Google watches not just who's how people come to your site, but when they come to your site, what are they doing? Are they coming to your site and then leaving? Are they coming to your site and then realizing, nope, this is not what I need. I'm going to go back and find something that's a little bit more helpful. And that's going to tell Google whether or not, and then again, that's one of those signals. It's going to tell Google whether or not your site should be shown more for that search. So it's important to make sure that again, we don't just focus on getting people to the site. Once they get to the site, we need to create a journey for them that's going to lead them to what it is that we want them to do and what they need. And so that's one of the reasons why I do not focus just on getting traffic to your site and the SEO side of it, but I want to focus on actually getting them to book and work with you once they get to your site and making sure the site takes them through that journey and that there's not anything holding them back. This is also one of the reasons why I do in my audit a conversion analysis, which is where I come to the site as if I am that audience, and I go through the site and point out things that could be holding your audience back from being able to actually make it to that finish line. And it's very, very insightful because a lot of times, again, we're not paying attention to those things. We're paying attention to the beautiful things that's there, but we're not actually paying attention to the journey that someone has to go on in order to get to that booking page or booking a call with you or filling out that form. And so the conversion analysis is really helpful in being able to point that out. Um, I kind of just touched on this. Google gets them to your site, but your site gets them to say yes. Both of these things matter. You can't just focus on getting people to your site, but then not getting them to say yes. You can't just focus on getting them to say yes, but then they're not finding your site on Google, right? We need both of those things to work well in order for you to see the results that you're looking for, which is leads, right? You want more leads, you want more bookings, you want to be able to get these things without having to feel like you need to show up constantly on social media or post a whole lot more in order to get these clients. You want your site to do its job, for it to actually work and function, and without you having to send the link every single time. You want people to find you and just say, hey, this is exactly what I was looking for. I found you on Google, or I found you through AI search, things like that. And this is what matters, and this is why it's important to be able to focus on that. Now, I touched on a little bit about my conversion analysis and my SEO audit, and want to just touch on what all the audit includes. The website and SEO audit is an audit that not just focuses on SEO and not just focuses on your website, but combines those two things together. So the first thing I do is I audit your entire site. I look at what Google sees versus what you see. I do a competitive analysis to see exactly where your competitors are within the SEO realm, where they're standing out, and what are things that are helping them to be able to stand out in the market. But then also, where is there an opportunity for you in your industry that is untapped? Then we look at what's working and what's broken, right? What things are working well that we definitely want to make sure we keep, but what are some things that's broken that we also want to make sure that we fix, so that these errors or these things that are broken are not holding you back. Then I do a conversion analysis. So I touched on that a little bit already. But do visitors do what it is that you want them to do? Do they know what to do next? Is your site guiding people to book? How easy is it to book with you? These are the things that I look at, and I walk you through what those things are and give you next step items so that you know exactly what it is that I see from my perspective that's holding your audience back. And then I go in and do done for you fixes. So I go in and optimize your site for you. I do the technical fixes. I also set up tracking and analytics so that we can be able to see what's working afterwards, where people are coming from, what are the things that they are interested in most when they get to your site. What is that behavior, right? We talked about that physical touch, right? So what are they doing when they get there? How is that interaction on your website? And then you also get copywriting infused into the package so that your copy is not just personality driven, but also SEO driven, so that you can be able to have a deeper impact and Google can have a better understanding of what it is that you do. This is for someone who has a website, but it's not bringing in inquiries of bookings. So if you have a website that looks beautiful, you're like, I love my website. I'm not trying to redo my website, but it's not doing what I need it to do. It's not bringing in leads. It's not bringing in, I'm not getting bookings from it. The audit is best for you. It's for someone who you're getting visitors, but they're not converting. So yes, you're getting traffic. Maybe you're even getting traffic from Google, but they're not doing anything once they get there. This is for you. You've tried all the different things, but you're tired of having inconsistent leads. Leads that maybe some months are great and then other months are slow. Or maybe you started out when you launched your site, things were going well, right? And then over the months and years and things, as things have progressed, you just haven't been seeing the consistent leads anymore. And you're wondering what's wrong, right? Then this is for you. Maybe you've even invested in a designer, but you still realize that even after that rebrand, your site is not performing. The audit is for you. What I do when I look at the audit is I look at exactly what is keeping people from finding you in search. and I fix those invisible issues, like those hidden behind the scene issues that's blocking Google from showing you to the people who are searching for what it is that you do. I figure out what's making visitors leave without booking. Or we need to figure out, okay, so for the people who are coming, if they're not booking, what is holding them back so that we can be able to fix those things and you can get the conversions you're looking for on your site. I rewrite all of those things. You don't have to worry about, okay, well, what should I do with this information? I rewrite all of the SEO titles and meta descriptions so that when Google or the search engines are looking for your site, they have a clear understanding of what you do and it helps people to click on your site. I then optimize those pages for you so Google knows what it is you do, who you serve, where you are. There's no confusing messaging. And I fix those errors on the site to make sure that that's not what's holding you back. Again, set up tracking so that you know exactly what's working instead of guessing. And then I handle all the behind the scenes optimizations so your site starts pulling its weight. And that's everything. Do we have any questions in the chat? Let me check the chat and see if there's anything here. But if you are interested in the SEO audit, I'm going to put the link in the chat as well for you to check it out. And I don't see any questions. So, thank you so much for joining my live today. And if you have any questions, let me know. But definitely would love to see you be able to attract all five, or would love to see you to have Google fall in love with your website by being able to pay attention to all five of Google's love languages.